I start today lecture, okay, by explaining when we are doing Keynesian cross model, okay, to explain determination of equilibrium income in the Keynesian framework, okay. I have talked about two sectors. You can extend to three sectors. So I say that you can use the simplified equation, okay, and that I have extended to do the IS equation also, okay. So I am going to compare Keynesian cross equation and IS equation. The reason to do is that you people can understand, okay, and how you can write the answer if they have asked in the examination. That is our first step. Second thing, okay, I am going to talk about slope. When my IS curve will be steeper and flatter, okay, that thing I am going to talk about, and that will be the end of today's lecture. So first, I am talking about Keynesian cross model, and side by side, I am going to talk about your ISN model. In the ISN model, I am going to talk about IS schedule. Okay. IS curve or IS schedule. Curve I am not telling because it means curve. Okay, not a statement. Okay. So in the Keynesian cross model, that takes three sectors. Okay, because when you take government, it will be autonomous part. It will not make much difference. You people can see the board, right? Board is visible? Yes, no. Body visible to everyone? Okay. So we know in equilibrium, we get equilibrium national income or in equilibrium. Let me add. It's a problem I have. Let me add Sukanya, right? Then I can start the lecture. Done. So C plus I plus G, okay, and C will be equal to C bar plus small c y. When I am drawing the graph, I am not opening this y, okay, I am not taking text as this induced text, okay. Everyone have their official time. I am repeating again to warn the student, okay. I provide the link generally 5 minutes before the class, okay. So try to join on time, okay. This is not movie theater, okay. So consumption I open up, investment will be I bar plus G bar, okay. So on this autonomous part, C bar, I bar, G bar. So I write A bar plus small c y, okay. So y equal to A bar plus small c y, okay. This equation is your aggregate demand. Look at this. This part is your aggregate demand. Someone calls Sukanya, okay. See, I don't know what problem she have. Ask her not to join or update her phone, okay. Update her Google Meet. Okay. So here you have aggregate demand. Here you have output. This is 45 degree 9, y equal to 80. Okay. So this, when your income is equal to 0, okay, your aggregate demand will be A bar. So I written A bar. I'm not doing consumption function on this thing, I'm directly doing. This is a part of your aggregate demand. When y equal to 0, your aggregate demand will be A bar. Okay, this will be your curve. Okay, now I have drawn this schedule, and here is our this equation of this 9 is A bar plus small c y, okay. This is my equilibrium level of income, okay. So when you are writing determination of equilibrium level of income in the Keynesian model, you can use this equation and draw this graph and provide an explanation of that thing. Okay. So this is simple. Remember this part. Okay. Don't try to push disposable income, then it will become difficult to drive the thing. Okay. Do that way. Okay. First thing. Second thing, when you are explaining the graph, okay, this equilibrium, you have to talk about this part also. Okay. That you have to talk about this part also. Okay. That here aggregate demand is more than output. Okay. So you have unplanned inventory negative. So output will increase. This will be the equilibrium. Then here output is more at this point. This is aggregate demand. This is output. Okay. So what is happening here? Output is more than aggregate demand at this point. Okay. When output is more than aggregate demand, what will happen? It will form and you will use this equilibrium. In the subsequent period, you will reduce the production, and here you will increase the production, and you will reach this equilibrium. Okay. So always write the proper argument, like here aggregate demand is more than output at this point. Aggregate demand is equal to output. Okay. And when you are explaining two sector, okay, draw your consumption schedule. Okay. Take this is consumption schedule. Okay. C bar plus small c by. So here income equal to consumption. Your saving will start from here, right? So this is your saving schedule. This is your investment schedule. Okay. You will get a equilibrium income here. Okay. Draw the graph and explain properly. And this is the question that I have given. And one question is there attached with that. So discuss the determination of equilibrium level of income in the Keynesian model. Okay. So when they not specified, the graph that I have just drawn, you can draw the graph. Explanation I have provided. Suppose the equilibrium is achieved is below full employment. Okay. Then discuss how full employment equilibrium can be achieved, and during this process what will happen to the price level and employment. Okay. Now for this thing, you have explained the equilibrium condition. For second thing, you have to draw this graph. Okay. Here you have aggregate demand. Here you have output. This is y equal to AD. Okay. I just have C plus I. And here this is the equilibrium that is below full employment. Okay. So this is the equilibrium achieved below full employment. So you have to make some point here that is full employment output. Okay. So how we can achieve full employment equilibrium? By increasing the level of aggregate demand or autonomous expenditure. Okay. C plus I plus change in I. Okay. So when I want to achieve full employment output, I need to increase level of aggregate demand. Okay. So during this process, what will happen to the price level? Price level will not increase. Okay. The reason being, firm has idle capacity. Okay. There is involuntary unemployment in the economy. So workers are willing to work at the going wage rate. Firm have idle capacity, so firm can produce more output without increasing the price level. What will happen to unemployment? Unemployment will reduce. Okay, unemployment will reduce, and we will achieve full employment of labor force when we increase the aggregate demand. Okay, this will be the explanation for the second part. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. So remember how you have to write the answer. This graph I have done it, okay, in the class also. One time with delta I and second time with delta G also. Okay. So you can provide explanation in whatever way you are comfortable. Okay. Now coming back to today task. So in today's class, I'm looking at Kensen cross model and ISN model. Okay, in the ISN model, I'm going to look at IS schedule. Okay, so I have taken three sector: consumption, investment, and government expenditure. I have just explained this consumption function. Okay, 1 year as a function of income. So on this autonomous part, I have written A bar. Okay, and there is an induced part. Okay, of aggregate demand. So this I have drawn like this. Here you have aggregate demand or aggregate expenditure or what you say plan expenditure, whatever you want to write. Okay. Here your output. This is y equal to 80, 45 degree line. Okay. On which write the name of the line what you are drawing. This is aggregate demand A bar and a small c y. Okay. Take this consumption to be C1. Okay. The MPC is C1. And I am taking one more MPC, say C2. Okay. And I am saying that C2 is greater than C1. This is small c, okay, not capital C. So when I am saying C2 is greater than C1, what does it mean? When my marginal propensity to consume is C2, look at my two consumption functions. This is consumption function 1, which is C bar plus small c1y. This is my second consumption function, C bar plus small c2y. Okay. Here my MPC is high. Okay. Then my consumption will be high here, then here. Everyone agree? Yes, no? For same autonomous part, 50-50. If this is 0.5, this is 0.75, income is 100. Okay. So my consumption will be higher here than here. Okay. Now, how I can plot this in the graph? I have done this. Okay. So I am going to use this part here, second part. Okay. Equilibrium part I have explained already. So for the same autonomous part, A bar. Okay. Again I am saying how I take out the autonomous. Take income equal to 0. Okay. This will be my aggregate expenditure in the economy. Okay. In the current period. This is important. In the current period, this will be my aggregate expenditure. Okay. As my income increases, aggregate expenditure increases. This is based on consumption level 1. Okay. So when my consumption increases, MPC increases, that means leakage is reducing. Okay. When my leakage reduces, if you remember, y equal 1 minus c on the autonomous part you have here. When we are driving the your thing means numerical when we are solving this, because tax I have taken to be 0, then my multiplier will be this. Okay, this is what leakage. This is what MPS. Okay, so as my leakage reduces, my income will be higher. Okay, or in simple words, just for understand this way, when my MPC equal to 1, okay, but this will be 1 over 1 minus 1. So what is 1 over 0? What is 1 over 0? Yeah, it will continue. Okay, it will keep continuing that process. Okay, detailed explanation about this. Okay, what kind of society we will have. Okay, what problem associated with this kind of thing, I will discuss some other day. Okay, so just understand for the time being, because that will take almost 1-2 hour explanation. Okay, I am not going to that. So when my leakage reduces, okay, for the current time period I am talking about. Okay, I am not talking about long term. Okay, for the long term that will be a problem. So when my leakage reduces in the short term, in the current period, okay, what will happen? My multiplier value will increase. Okay, this is what happens. When your consumption is higher, MPC is higher, your leakage reduces, multiplier value is high, so you will be having more income. Okay. Since my autonomous part will be same, for the first one it is C1, second one autonomous part is same, it will be C2. A bar and small C2y. C2 is your MPC. Okay. This is your income level 1 and this is your income level 2. Okay. So MPC affect. Okay. What will be the level of your income? Why? Because MPC, okay, influence your multiplier. Okay, MPC influence your multiplier. Okay, why? because you know sir MPC plus MPS equal to 1 and MPS is leakage. Like tax, I talk about tax is a leakage. When you introduce tax, your multiplier will reduce. When you introduce marginal propensity to marginal propensity to import, your multiplier will reduce. Okay, same thing here. Okay, same equation we have written for IS schedule also, but we have induced part for investment. Okay, that we call responsiveness in investment due to change in rate of interest, or you can say change in investment due to change in rate of interest. Okay, today I am going to discuss more in detail. Okay, first understand, when we are deriving the IS schedule, I am writing this equation C plus I plus G. I will open one in these two. Okay, this will be C bar plus small c y plus I bar minus B I plus G bar. Okay, on this our autonomous part, write it together A bar. Okay, I am writing minus B I together plus small c y. Okay, now this is your aggregate demand. Again I am repeating, intercept term understand. This is your aggregate demand. Okay, I have to know in two-dimensional graph. Here you are writing aggregate demand. Here writing output. When your output will be 0, okay, this is my aggregate demand. Let me write it again. I don't know why you are facing problem. A bar minus bi, okay, plus small c by. When my income is 0, okay, this part will be not there. When my income is 0, this will be my aggregate demand. Okay, but what will be my intercept depend on rate of interest. Okay, interest rate is say 5%. Then what will happen? When my interest rate is 5%, that means when my interest rate is low, my aggregate demand will be higher because investment will be higher. Okay, when my interest rate is high, say 10%, okay, investment will be low. Okay, that means my aggregate demand will be low. Okay, intercept term will be low. Okay, first I am drawing for 10%, say I1. This is I1, this is I2. Check the previous video I have done in detail. Okay. So when my interest rate is high, let me draw 45 y equal to 80. Same thing, there is no much difference between this equation and this equation. Only you have this term extra here, inducement part to investment. Okay, see. So for let me draw for I1. I am using the same example that I have done in the last lecture. So this will be A bar, intercept term will be A bar minus BI1. Okay, write the full intercept term. Okay, A bar minus BI1. Here will be A bar minus BI1 plus induced part plus small c y. Okay, so this is what we have. Second thing, when interest rate reduces, investment will be more. Okay, so when investment will be more, your autonomous part will increase here. A constant part will increase more, you can say. This will be your new aggregate demand. A bar minus BI2 plus small c bar. Okay. So if some of you are not there at the time, today I have 33 students. I don't know if you have seen the YouTube video or not. Okay. Let me explain the process one more time. Okay. Investment is I bar minus BI. Okay, in this framework. Consumption for this simplified form is C bar plus small c y, and government expenditure is G equal to G bar. Okay. In equilibrium, I hope everybody knows Y equal to AD. Okay. So for different interest rate, I will be having different investment. We have done in the classical also. Investment is a cost of capital stock. Okay. What is investment? Investment is addition to the capital stock, right? Investment is addition to the capital stock. Oh, wait. Yeah. Interest rate is a cost of capital stock, right? Interest rate, okay, is a cost to capital stock. Why? Because it represents cost of borrowing. So interest rate is a cost of capital. Investment is addition to capital stock. So when rate of interest is high, I will borrow less to have more capital. So when I borrow less, when interest rate is high, so I will be having less capital stock. That means less investment will be there. So there is a negative relationship between these two. Okay. So when rate of interest is high, I1, okay, investment will be low. Okay. So when investment will be low, what is your aggregate demand? Aggregate demand equal to C plus I plus G. So when I will be low, aggregate demand will be low. Okay. So when your aggregate demand will be low, investment output will be low, equilibrium output. Okay. So for different rate of interest, I will be getting different aggregate demand and different output level. Take interest rate to be I2, 5% very low. Okay. When my interest rate is low, my cost of borrowing is low, I can have more capital in stock. Okay. So this capital in stock will be high, investment will be high. Okay. So when investment will be high, what will happen? Aggregate demand will be high. So when change in aggregate demand will be high, change in output will be more. Okay, this is what will happen. So here at high rate of interest I1, this is your income, say Y1. Let me take this one. And when rate of interest is I2, my income is Y2. Okay. So when I join on this point, I don't have its space, but need to. Okay. I am drawing with respect to I. Okay. So I am looking at a combination of rate of interest and income. Okay. At which good market will be in equilibrium. Because this point represents good market equilibrium, this point also represents good point equilibrium. Y equal to 80. Okay. Now, when your income is Y1, rates of interest is what? I1, right? High I1. So I join these 2 points, Y1, I1, I get first point. Okay. Second point is here, when your rate of interest is no, so I2, okay. Your output is how much? Y2, higher output, Y2. I get second point. So I join these 2 points, I get IS curve. Investment saving equality curve. Okay. Y is equal to C plus S. Aggregate demand equal to C plus I. So investment saving equality curve. Okay. So what is IS curve? No cost of combination of rate of interest and income at which goods market is equilibrium. Okay. And second thing I talk about is that what will be the point to the right of this IS curve? Okay, when we are drawing like this. So I am getting 1 point here, left of IS curve, and 1 point to the right of IS curve. Okay. So to the right of IS curve, okay, let me draw in the on the top hand. So I am drawing this graph again. Okay, let me rub this thing. But remember the flow of argument, okay, that I have done on the detailing, because students generally remember in mechanic way, okay. So on the process of development, how the thing is working, when how the rate of interest are changing, how your aggregate demand will change, okay, then how your equilibrium output will change, okay. I have done that thing, so I am not going into that part, okay. Always practice 100 times, 200 times, whatever it take, practice to draw it. Here you have rate of interest, here you have output. This I have drawn 45 degree line, Y equal to 80. This rate of interest is high, then this is my intercept term, A bar minus BI, which is constant for a given rate of interest, I1. Okay. I draw this curve and schedule A bar minus BI plus small c Y. Okay. So I get 1 point here. And my equilibrium output is Y1. So at Y1, I have equilibrium output Y1 when my interest rate is high, I1. So I get 1 point of IS curve. And this point is equal is where Y equal to 80. Okay. I have good market equilibrium here. Okay. Now my interest rate is on and is set as say 10%. Okay. Then this becomes my intercept term, A bar minus BI2, this point. Okay. And this is my curve, A bar minus BI2, that is small c Y. Okay. My equilibrium level of income will be high. Okay. Y will be high, repeating again. When rate of interest is no, okay, cost of capital will be no, then there will be more investment. When there will be more investment, there will be more aggregate demand. Okay. That means change in aggregate demand will be higher than in equilibrium. Change in demand will be equal to change in the output. Okay. Then output will be more. Then you will get, when my rate of interest is no, I am getting second point here. So again here also you have Y equal to 80 at this point. This is my IS curve, which is a no-cost of combination of on this point. Okay. It is no-cost of combination of rate of interest and output at which good market is in equilibrium. Okay. This is equilibrium point. This is equilibrium. You can draw n number of point. Okay. Because this is continuous graph. Okay. So you can draw any number of graph if you want. Okay. Now next, I am talking about these 2 points. Point here. Okay. So I say that if your rate of interest is I1, okay, is it possible to have income level of Y2? Okay, that possibility we want to look at. If your rate of interest is I1, can I have income level of Y2? Okay, so let's look at the possibility. Okay, so when my rate of interest is I1, this is my aggregate demand. This now. Okay, this is my aggregate demand, and suppose income level is Y2. So at this point, okay, what is happening? Aggregate demand is here, but output is this much. Okay, so aggregate demand is more than output at this point. Okay, so when aggregate demand is more than output, wait, no. My this is my aggregate demand. Okay, and here I have output. So aggregate demand is less than output here. This is aggregate demand point, and here you have output 45 degree line. Okay. Output will be on the 45 degree line. Okay, so here I have output. So when my output is more than aggregate demand, what will happen? That means I am adding to my inventory. Okay, so next period I will reduce my production. Here. Okay, then I will reach the equilibrium Y1. So when my interest rate is I1, okay, I cannot have income level Y2. So this point, at this point I have excess supply of good, which I say point E4. Okay, this is E4. So when I have excess supply of good, I will be having income level of Y1. Okay, so my output will reduce, I will achieve equilibrium income level of Y1. Okay. Second thing I say that, suppose my interest rate is no, I2. Okay, is it possible to have no level of income? Okay, let's look at that possibility. So this is my income level. Okay, my income is this much, 45 degree line, remember. Okay, but my aggregate demand is here. So aggregate demand is more than output, so I have excess demand for good. So at this point I say E3, I have excess demand for good. Okay, so when I have excess demand for good, what will happen? In the subsequent period, firm will increase the production and this curve will go here, and I will reach income level of Y2. Okay, you have to rub this graph rate 1. Okay, because you have to analyze in different way. So you will move from here to here. Okay, so at no level of income, you will always have, or no level of rate of interest, you will always have high equilibrium output compared to higher rate of interest. Okay, this is what we have done, and I have provided the simple explanation. So use only that explanation. Okay, this part you can explain. Okay, if not explain, maybe in 1 mark, 2 marks they can ask. To the right of IS curve, okay, why we have excess supply of good. Okay, so explanation is there. You can write to the left of IS curve why we have excess demand of good. Okay. Okay. Now next task is to look at the slope of IS curve. Okay. Remember when they are asking about Keynesian cross model, equilibrium in Keynesian model, okay, no need to grab this 1 minus C plus Ct and on this autonomous part, okay. They will ask numerical, they will ask only simple if they ask, okay, because generally on this thing I am not done, okay, most of the thing. I am not going to that part. Okay. So IS schedule, slope, IS curve or schedule slope part. Okay. So we know y equal to c plus I plus g. I am keeping simple formula. C bar plus small c y plus I bar minus b I plus g. Okay. So on this autonomous part. Okay. So I will write A bar minus BI plus small c y. So I have two induced part. Okay. One is this and second is this. Okay. So my IS curve will be steeper or flatter will depend on this B term. Okay. And this small c term. Okay. What is B? Again, remember equation I bar minus BI. Okay. Or remember 3 hours and plus 2 hour technical session that I have done. I have discussed on this thing already. And after that also we have done on this Shanov intercept term. Change in I over change in rate of interest, change in investment due to change in rate of interest is minus B. Rate of interest increases by 1%. Okay. Investment being formed by this much. Okay. This term. So let's look at that part. See, I will discuss. You already know I have shown you that graph already. So I have two investment curve. Okay. Then I can draw two graph. In the second year, so I have two investment curve. One is steeper and one is flatter. Okay. So suppose rate of interest is I1. Here I have investment. Here also I have investment. Okay. So at this investment level, when my investment schedule is steeper, okay, because of this term, this is my investment level I1. Here it is I1. Okay. Suppose rate of interest form to I2. Investment here increases from I1 to I2. In this graph also it increases from I1 to I2. But here responsiveness is more, right? You can see change in investment is more for the same amount of change in rate of interest. Yes or no? For the given change in rate of interest, okay, if the responsiveness in investment is low, then your investment schedule will be steeper. This case, see, only by small amount your investment is increasing. But if there is a more responsiveness in investment, that means firm and businessman, okay, if there is a falling rate of interest, respond more to the falling rate of interest, your investment will increase by quite large amount. Okay. When responsiveness in investment is high, okay, your investment schedule will be flatter. Okay. Now, I have to look at when my investment schedule is steeper, okay, or when it is flatter. In that case, how my IS schedule will look like. Okay. So let me write it I2 to I bar minus BI. Okay. And you know that aggregate demand is C plus I bar minus BI plus Z bar. Okay. I'm not opening this two because this is important that I have to look at. And in equilibrium, you know Y into AD. Okay. So look at the first this case when responsiveness is more. Okay, for the given change in rate of interest, for the given change in your rate of interest, I want to look at if responsiveness, this B term is greater. Okay, that means your investment schedule is flatter. So when there is a change in rate of interest, okay, if responsiveness is more, then the change of investment will be more, this much. Okay, let's do that thing. When my interest rate is changing, this responsiveness B term is more. Okay, negative sign, autonomous part will be 0. Then my change in investment will be more. Okay, then my change in I over change in investment due to change in rate of interest will be minus B. Okay, this responsiveness is more. Okay, so when my responsiveness is more, my change in aggregate demand will be much higher. Okay, so when my change in aggregate demand will be much high, change in output will be much higher. Okay, so what will happen? My IS curve will be flatter. Okay, I here also. So when responsiveness in investment demand will be more, investment will be more, so change in aggregate demand will be more, therefore my change in output will be more, that means IS curve will be flatter. Okay. Second part, same argument. Okay, you can use other way. Okay, when responsiveness is less, change in investment will be less. Okay, that means responsiveness in investment due to change in rate of interest will be less. Okay, and this is the case. What will happen? My change in aggregate demand will be less. When my change in aggregate demand will be less for the given change in rate of interest, then my change in output will be less. So I will get a steeper IS curve. Okay. Write down. Next, one graph I am going to draw. Okay, you can use the same argument to draw graph for this part also. Okay, steeper flatter part. Okay, you can draw it. So I have explained with that this is this induced part. Okay, that determine the slope of your IS curve. So when responsiveness is more, your IS curve will be flatter. When it is less, okay, investment change will be less, aggregate demand change will be less, then your IS curve will be steeper because equilibrium output will be lower. Okay. Now I have to look at this MPC term. Okay, what will happen? Okay, I love this part. Okay, because maybe I need to use some more space. Next try. Okay. Okay, I am taking output. I am taking aggregate demand. Y equals to AD. Okay. Before I do this thing, okay, when two lines are parallel, okay, slope is changed, same. Okay, when one line is like this, another is same. Okay, this is flatter than this one. Okay, parallel line, okay, does not mean that this is flatter. Slope are same. When one is this and one is just little bit tinted, okay, that means this line is more flatter. So I am using the same thing, A bar minus BI 1. The rate of interest is high. Okay. This is the point. Okay. This I get A bar minus BI plus C1Y. Okay. MPC I have taken C1. Okay. Now suppose I am considering two MPC. C2 is greater than C1. Small c. Okay. On the right, small c. So when my MPC is high, intercept term will be same. There will be no change in intercept term. Okay. What will happen? Remember the graph that I have drawn. The aggregate demand curve will be like this. Same I have done in the Keynesian cross model. Okay. One term is that you have intercept term here. Okay. For the given rate of interest, I know that this term is given. Okay, autonomous part, whereas induced part is given. Okay, so this is constant. So this will be A bar minus BI plus C2Y. Okay. That's one. Take photo. Okay. So let me take the IS first point. Okay, IS curve. One with high MPC and one with no MPC. Okay, that here your MPC is C1, here MPC is C2. Okay, this is one equilibrium point. You have say Y1, and this is also equilibrium point we have for the same rate of interest. Say Y1 prime. Okay, so let me draw this one. This is Y1. Okay, when my MPC is C1, MPC is no. Okay, that means leakage is high, margin propensity to save is high, and Y1 prime. Okay, interest rate is same. Say I1. So I get 1 point here, but my MPC is C1, and this is for other curve, red curve. Okay, I put red dot. Okay, but my MPC is C2. Okay. Now this I got 1 point. I need to get one more point to draw my IS curve. Okay. So what I have to do to take out the second point? Remember, I change the rate of interest. Okay. So rate of interest decreases. Okay. So when rate of interest decreases, your this term, intercept term will increase. Okay. This will be A bar minus BI2. Same thing, same graph. Okay. So this will be your, it should be parallel to this graph. Okay. A bar minus BI2, it will be 1. Okay. And the small c1 y. Okay. So only this term is changing like the previous one. Okay. As everything is same. Next. Let me extend this graph a little bit more. This is 45°9, okay, remember. No. Now, this is with respect to MPC C1, okay. For the same interest rate, is MPC is high, leakage is less, so my aggregate demand will be more, okay. When the aggregate demand will be more, then output will be more, okay. Okay, this point. This is my y equal to AD. Okay, on top this red line, black line. Y equal to AD. Okay. At this point, okay, or this line you can say red line. Okay, I have A bar minus BI. This will be 2. Okay, here it will be 1. Thus, small c 2y. Okay, because here rate of interest is I2. This is aggregate demand. Only your consumption is changing. Okay, so I get 2 point more. Here output is Y2. Okay, when my consumption is this much small c1. Here my output is Y2 prime. Okay. If my rate of interest is lower, this we have done already to drive the IS curve. Okay. I am saying that MPC induce your shape of your or slope of your IS curve. Okay. That is what I am showing. Let's take that 2 point. This is Y2. This is Y2 prime. So rate of interest is say I2. Okay. 1 point here you get, other point here you get. Okay. Now I have to join rate of interest is I1, Y1. Okay. Corresponding to your MPC C1. Okay. Similarly, when rate of interest is lower, okay, I have to draw what I2 with Y2 corresponding to your MPC C1. Okay, so join it. This is IS curve. Okay, when your MPC is C1. Okay, when MPC increases, leakage reduces. Okay, so this is the case. So for the same interest rate I1, high rate of interest, when MPC reduces, equilibrium output increases to Y1 prime. Okay. So you join this rate of interest with higher output or higher equilibrium income. Why? Because MPC is higher. When MPC is higher, that means what happened? Leakage reduces, so your multiplier value increases. increases. Okay? So this point we get. Okay, first point. Second point we get is that here when your rate of interest reduces, okay, and your MPC is higher, we get higher level of income. Okay, so this is the second point here. Okay, so join that 2 points. So here you have 1 point. This is the second point. Okay, so look at this. These two are not parallel. Okay, here you have 1 point, and it is getting flatter. Okay, after this it is getting flatter distance. This is your IS curve. So this is what we have in the IS schedule. Okay, and this is what you have to do for the IS curve.